to our video podcast
where we talk about all things writing, books, and author stuff. What else?
Author talk, book talk, honestly, anything that has to do with literature. We got your back.
How fun is that?
I don't know if you can see on camera, but it lights up.
Oh, also our topic is autobiographies. So I was thinking Easter and I was thinking autobiographies. It just seemed like a good fit.
Yeah.
You know, like the story of people's lives, and even Easter being like the story of Jesus' life and stuff like that.
And also the eggs. Funny enough, eggs in Easter, they symbolize never ending. Because the circle.
There is like, so I think there's symbolism with the egg with Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Because the egg is one thing, but there's a yolk, there's a shell, and there's
the white stuff.
The white, yeah, the yolk, the shell, the white, and that's three separate things. They're not the same thing, but it's still one egg. It's just one egg. So I actually had a lot of fun going to the dollar store, and I miss my daughter being little when I did buy egg decorating.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm gonna decorate eggs for sure.
So what are we drinking?
Okay, this is fun. This is a drink that, well, I kind of made up because I started squeezing lemon into water just so the water would taste better, and I was trying to avoid sugar, right? And then I started adding tonic water. And then one time I cut up my kiwi, and you know, sometimes the kiwi's too sour or whatever. I threw it in here to see if it would add flavor, and then I ate the kiwi afterwards, and I was like, why does the kiwi taste so amazing? And I think it was because of the lemon. I tried adding other things like strawberry, and we put a little orange in here. I forgot to add, one of my favorite things is canned apricot or canned peaches.
The juices.
Yes, so you pour the juices from the can of the peach or the apricot, whatever, I guess it's like the syrup, and you could chop up some peaches, because with all the fruit in here, once I drink it, I eat the fruit. So I have my drink and my dessert all in one. Are you ready? Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Mine tastes refreshing but not sweet. I'm getting the orange from the bottom.
Mine is very refreshing.
Yeah?
The pineapple
Do you like it?
is piercing to the soul.
Did I put too much pineapple?
No, it's good.
Wow,
the fizz is pushing it up through the straw.
Oh, it's going up all by itself. How is this happening? Wait,
It's the fizz.
do you think it's reacting with your pineapple juice and it's like
I don't know.
creating,
This is so good, this kiwi.
right? Doesn't it bring the flavor out?
It pops.
Oh, let's introduce our guests. One of the guests won't be doing a video interview and actually sent in a response to our question. Her name is Linda Penner. Okay, this is the title. I'm gonna tell you the title. It's kind of funny.
Are you ready for this?
The title is A Hitman is Cheaper Than Divorce. So you've seen the book?
No.
Oh, okay.
What is this about?
So
Wait, is this an autobiography?
this is the cool thing, and this is why I really wanted her on the show, is you know how when you read a novel and it has like a story, but then when you read an autobiography, the story's in there, but it's kind of telling you, like this person is telling you their life. Linda's book is just like reading a novel, but it's actually all true.
Is there a hitman in this book?
No, okay, so the reason it's called that, oh, that's why you're like, it's a true story?
I was like, oh my gosh.
You have to meet Linda because then you will understand, because she's got such a great sense of humor, and that's part of the title. It's her sense of humor, and also her book is technically a comedy.
Interesting.
Yeah, and writing comedy is really difficult, and so when you go look for a comedy book, you don't find them.
It's true. It is hard because the reason it's so hard is everybody has a different sense of humor.
Oh.
So a lot of authors, I know an author, and I won't say the name of the author, but this author published a book, a comedy book, of funny stories she got from other individuals and struggled selling it. And she read some of it, and to some people that listened, it was very not funny whatsoever. Some people, it was funny, but like, it just depends on your sense of humor, and it's really hard to write comedy, because comedy is something you act out, is really acted out, and you kind of see actions. It's like an oral storytelling form, but to do it a written storytelling form, it's so much more harder. I feel like maybe a comedian that's really advanced could, but like for someone that's not a comedian trying to write a comedy,
and that's the thing.
Be a disaster.
I think Linda's definitely in the realm of being a comedian, like good at being. She's good at being funny. This is why I'm so disappointed I don't have the physical book. I wanted to kind of go through and maybe give little examples, because she's got these fun, I don't know, like the dialogue, and I just want to say that she is, I don't know if she even knows this, but she's the reason why I continued pursuing, or was encouraged to publish and continue. So Linda is in Medicine Hat, and she drove all the way to Lethbridge to our writers group. So she came to the writers group, and she had these little cards that she had made up with her book cover on it and about her book.
Wicked.
And she handed it out, and I looked at it and I was like, wow, like she's this amazing author and all this stuff. And I asked her about the book, and I think she said she hadn't written the book yet. Like she wasn't done the book yet, but was already promoting it. And my mind was just blown, and I'm like, what? You must be so confident that your book is gonna happen. And she did. She did publish the book, and I published my first novel. And then together we did, in Medicine Hat, we did it was more like people went up to read.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
This was at the library in Medicine Hat. A shout out to the library at Medicine Hat. They are so supportive of local authors and everything like that. So, okay, this is what we asked Linda. Is Hitman all fact or some fiction? Did you encounter any personal surprises when looking back and writing about your life? Did the writing process generate any new self-discovery? What do you hope readers will take away from your autobiographical novel?
Her response.
Yes, her response. I wrote Hitman as a creative nonfiction humor book. Oh, she says it so well. So that's what it is. She says it so well. A creative nonfiction humor book. Everything in the book is factual, but the creative part includes changing most characters' names, compressing the timeline to have the book move on in a timely manner. I wonder if that's part of the reason why it felt like a novel. Expanding on some memories such as the dream sequences to make them more colorful. The surprising thing about looking back while writing about my life was the emotion I thought had been long buried. It was like picking off the scab of an old wound, but it was also very cathartic. This is really interesting to me because I'm writing a dystopian, and they have a arranged marriage. And so when they go to the house that they've been assigned in this dystopian world, it's actually the house that I lived in before I got separated and divorced, but then we went through the separation in that house. And just the emotion that evoked just being in that space while I was writing, just because I picked that house because it was a new house and I could envision it and everything like that. It's just really interesting when you write how it can bring out.
It's very intimate. It can be very intimate when you're writing, like with your emotions.
Can you imagine? So I wasn't writing about my divorce or anything like that, and it just sparked this emotion. But she's actually writing fact
about what happened.
About actually what happened, and just to bring that all up again. So let's see what she says. Okay. My self-discovery during writing this memoir was that much of the bitterness and grudges I'd held were gone. Oh, that's good. That's why I could write my story as humor. When I look back, I realized the absurdity of some of the things in my divorce process. It just made me laugh. That's not to say there aren't some tears within the pages. The book is truly a myriad of emotions. My goal for the readers is to understand there's a good life out there if you just stop dragging that breakup ball and chain. Oh, I love that! I love that so much because I also, well, she wrote this book before I went through a divorce, like 15 years before that happened. But I also had this experience. I feel like I was at a crossroads where you have to decide, are you going to carry this pain with you for the rest of your life? It actually can happen that way. And I've seen people just not truly get over, or am I going to find a way out? I think one of the reasons Linda made her way through and is just such an amazing person is because she has that humor, that sense of humor. Oh, Linda's so amazing. I wish that I could get out to Medicine Hat more often. I'm kind of scared of the road, the double highway stops, and suddenly it's just one road and one road with head-on traffic coming towards you.
Yeah, it's scary.
And the
Careful
problem,
when you drive, folks.
that area going to Medicine Hat, there's these hills, so you go up and you can't see who's on the other side. And there's these people are passing when they're not supposed to. So you come up and boom, there you see a car right in front of you.
And it can hit you head on.
I had that experience. You've seen my mirror, my driver's side mirror. So that I had that experience, and we just like, we were so close that it took the side off of my mirror. It took his mirror off completely. So Linda, I know you're watching because she's so supportive. This is why I haven't gone to visit you. I'm gonna cry. It's not even, I can drive as safe as I want, but other people's decisions.
It's terrifying. Honestly, I have car anxiety, so...
Oh, you do? Oh my gosh.
Terrified.
Okay,
that's why I'm like visually like, oh.
I shouldn't have brought up this story. So I reached out to Randy Ward. This is very unique, okay? Especially if you live in the area, you will want this book.
Sorry. Can I say it?
Okay, Stephanie.
I'm gonna be naughty.
Okay, Stephanie's about to be naughty.
You can't make this up.
The reason why it's titled that is because it's not made up. So Randy Ward is a police officer. He has seen everything.
Everything.
It's fascinating. So when I read this, it's just like there's not an underground world, but there is a world that is living alongside me that I don't
know.
see. I don't know what exactly.
I've interacted with that world.
Okay, so because you've done reporter work.
I was a reporter, and I was over crime and homelessness. So I worked next to some police officers. Because I interviewed police officers. I've seen that world, and you really can't make it up. Like some of the stuff that I have encountered, I'm like, this feels like not real. Feels like I'm in a Netflix documentary crazy thing.
And
like,
even in a place like Lethbridge, because you're like, oh well, yeah, New York, but okay, so I actually noticed on the back there's some information. Randy Ward is a retired police officer from Alberta. In this book, he writes about unusual situations that have happened to him over his 27 years in policing. So I read this a while ago, but it was such a fascinating read. Like, you just keep going, right? Because this is stuff that has happened around you. I know he hides the names and stuff, but I'm like, with some of these cases, like, I wonder if some people recognize. Like,
I might.
Oh, yes. Okay,
I might.
You need this book. We asked Randy, what do you believe drives human behavior to commit cruel crimes? And do you have some examples from your book and time as a police officer to illustrate those motivations? How do you think your book will impact the public's perception of police officers like yourself? And what do you hope will be the lasting impact of your work?
Thank you for inviting me to this video segment. I thought I'd let you know a little bit about myself. I was a police officer with the Lethbridge Regional Police Service for 25 years. I was also with the RCMP as a special and in the military for 8 years. I guess I like other people buying my clothes. I always wanted to be a police officer, but again, didn't have courage and life got in the way. I didn't want the answer to be no, I guess, when I asked. I did apply and got accepted to the Lethbridge Police Force and was with them through their many name changes until 2013. Wow, 12 years ago. Sometimes it doesn't seem that long, and sometimes it does. When I was first asked to participate in this video segment, one of the questions I was asked what do you believe drives human behavior to commit crimes? A fairly simple answer from my perspective was selfishness. When you steal something, it's all about selfishness. You want something they have, and you don't have it, so you steal it. When you assault someone, you think it's going to make you feel better. You hit them, assault them, and teach them a lesson. Or in the case of sexual assault, you're concerned about your own power and not about the victim, and it's all for your own pleasure. Again, selfishness. Fraud, again, same thing. You trick somebody out of something, and you take it, and it makes yourself feel better because now you have it, and you've outsmarted them. Again, selfishness. There are lots of examples of this in my 2 books. The first book being You Can't Make This Blank Up, and the second book being More Blank You Can't Make Up. These are all true stories about policing, about things that happened to me when I was policing. An example of a crime that was pure selfishness was a assault out back of an apartment building where a young woman was passed out and a man assaulted her. Somebody saw this, called us. I managed to get there on time and arrested the bad guy. That was pure selflessness, all for his own pleasure. Another example is the numerous bar fights that I've been to. That's all selfishness. You know, this guy wronged me, so I'm going to punch him because it'll make me feel better. One of the second questions that I was asked is, what do you think your book will impact the public's perception of police officers? That's why I wrote the book. I wrote the book because I wanted to give somebody a glimpse, a perspective of policing, real policing, not the TV policing, where you shoot your gun off all the time and nobody ever gets hurt in a fight. When I was policing, I always took lots of ride-alongs along. I did this because I wanted to give them a glimpse of that, a glimpse of what policing was like. I usually took people along that had an interest in policing, some part of law enforcement, or a family member of a policeman. It gave them a first-hand experience of what their husband or wife or their friend deals with all the time. I never left my ride-alongs in the car. They always came out and dealt with the trauma and the threats and the action and just the adrenaline. Most people only experience one or two traumas in their life. Police officers and law enforcement officers experience trauma daily, often multiple times daily. That's one of the reasons I wrote the book, as I said. I wanted to give a perspective of policing, of what they go through. The last comment that I was asked about was, what do you hope will be the lasting effect of your work? Good actions, bad actions. Every action has a consequence, both the good things you do and the bad things you do. Often in police work, you don't get to see that lasting effect of your actions. It's usually a matter of dealing with something, getting it over it, charge somebody, send them on their way, throw them in jail, do what you have to do. You deal with the situation at the time, whether it may be a theft, a death, a motor vehicle accident, and you move on to the next situation. You don't get to see the impact of your actions of arresting somebody and doing that kind of stuff often, or what the victim sees for a long time. Sometimes you do. When you charge someone with theft, you send them to court or you send them to jail and you move on to the next theft. Often the impacts of an assault are the greatest. You get to arrest the bad guy or girl, send them to jail, and the person that was assaulted has to deal with the trauma, both immediately and the lingering effects of that. I can think of one domestic assault I went to at one point. This guy assaulted his wife, and I arrested him, had my partner take him away. And if you know me, I'm a chatter. I chat with people, I talk with people. I find that valuable. I treat them with respect and talk to them. When I spoke to the victim, I talked to her about not being somebody's punching bag, about being a valued person, and that she didn't deserve that. I didn't see the result of that until years later when I was at a police ball with my wife, and this woman came up to me crying and said, "Thank you, Constable Ward. You helped me by talking to me and said I had value and that I didn't need to be somebody's punching bag." That was a tremendous effect, and it had an effect on her and me. As I said, every action has a consequence, both good and bad. This woman now is married, has a happy life, is actually married to a police officer. Even today, after my years in policing, and all these years later, I still have people coming up to me and saying, "Hey, you're Constable Ward, aren't you?" I said, "I was." And they talk to me about, "You treated me well when you arrested me for assault, or you arrested me for a theft, or you helped me in a motor vehicle collision, or at a death." I always try to treat people with respect that they deserve. If you treat people with respect, you'll often get respect in return. Not always, but most often. I want to thank you for having me participate in this video segment. And please, if you get a chance, read my books. Thank you.
We're back.
Thank you, Randy, for that. I'm just so excited that Randy was a guest and agreed to do a video for us, because this is This,
Randy, we appreciate your service.
look at the title of this one. I have to pee.
But
then you know
I
it's
really
gonna be
want to
something
read
good.
that.
Right? Because he says, I approach him laughing and say, you're under arrest. He stops and puts his hands in the air. I can see him wondering, what the
hell am I laughing about?
As I handcuff him and put him in the back of the car. He was working with another new police officer who had to pee. I actually feel bad because they are doing a service and it's a hard job. And can you imagine being out there and chasing
And then
after?
you have to chase the guy, arrest him, but you desperately need to pee while doing it, and you have to keep your composure and not pee yourself.
I guess, okay, you know what? Maybe for a guy, they have more options, but being a female police officer, you'd be like,
Oh, you'd be done.
yeah. So thank you, Randy. He actually signed this book for me. And there's a book too. Yeah, we need to mention that.
Oh, there's a book too.
I went to Analog Books and was like, I need book 2, and they didn't have a copy, so I didn't get it in time.
Dun dun dun.
It's called More You Can't Make Up.
More you can't make up. That's the second. I like Randy's sense of humor. I think I would get along with Randy.
Speaking of also funny, so I read Tina Fey Bossy Pants. This was Tina Fey's autobiography, and this definitely has funny little quips in there. And there are so many points where I was like, oh, this is such a good quote. I need to quote this. You have to be really smart to be funny. And Tina Fey, so she puts, this is her autobiography, and yet somehow she's not just funny, but she's also like a smart funny, where she's actually making a statement on society, or it's really, I recommend it. She actually did this because she thought it was funny, and her, look at,
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
so this is not her hands or her arm. You can see it's like all hairy, and I'll put it
it's
on.
a man's hand.
There's a man's hand in there, and she's like wanted to do it that way. I love the sass and the feistiness of Tina Fey. Like, she really worked her way up. So yeah, I do recommend this. This was a good read. This was a good read, this autobiography. And this one won #1 national bestseller, right? And it's my story of being Métis, homeless, and finding my way.
Wow.
So the thing is, I don't like reading about suffering and things that people go through, but I think it was part of our book club, something like that. And so I read it, and it just really blew my mind. It's not just going from being homeless to going to university and becoming a professor, basically, like that whole process. Usually people don't cross over that far, but he did. It's also the way it was written. Like, I vividly remember, even now, like it's my own memory, when he was with his brothers and sisters. No one was home. They were all little, like 4 or 5 years old, and there was no food in the house. And so they go into the fridge, and there was some kind of, all I remember is I could feel and see everything that was happening in this book. It was just so intense. So I think this one definitely is a #1 national bestseller for a reason.
We have some exciting news.
If you guys can see this, it says Positively Literary.
It's our merch.
And look at this fun logo. So I'm just so excited we have merch now. We've got like a mug. Ooh, Linda, who we've been talking about, ordered a mug. So
Oh,
Linda, I
thank
can't
you,
wait.
Linda.
Yes, and I can't wait to see the mug because I haven't ordered a mug, which I feel like I should order 2 mugs for us to have.
Speaking of merch and stuff, you can get some merch too, and you can also see us in person. We are gonna be at 2 local events, one in High River.
Oh, that's gonna be so exciting. It's a
Actually,
medieval
it's
fair.
coming up. Yes, it's in June, isn't it?
If it's in June, then I need to get my medieval garb.
I think it is in June. I have to double check. It's either June or July. Come see us.
Yes, we're gonna be there, and well, we won't be wearing this merch, but we will be wearing merch for When Words Collide.
Exactly. When Words Collide, that's in August.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay.
In August, when Words Collide at Calgary, if you are wanting to aspire to be an author, that is the place to go.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many seminars and panels, and I remember going there and just taking so many notes. Like, I learned so much, even about like self-publishing. And so we're gonna be there, and we're gonna be talking about kind of social media stuff, right?
Right.
TikTok and YouTube and Instagram.
Everything.
and
Everything. I have an autobiography in the works. I'm writing it in behalf of somebody else.
Wait, is that a biography then? Because autobiography is when you write about yourself, and a biography is when someone writes about someone's life.
I guess it would be a biography.
Okay.
But there is parts in there where it's my experience as well. So it's interesting. It's kind of a mix. But yeah, I won't go into too much detail because it's still in the works, but I can say the title will be The Kink in the Chain.
Okay.
And it's very, very intense. Like, I swear it's gonna be like a Netflix documentary one day because the stuff that happens in it is absolutely insane, like mind-blowing, and it's real. It actually happened. So
You know what they say, life is stranger than fiction.
yes,
So I've
isn't
heard
that
that.
the truth?
I've heard that, and I think, so you've picked someone who has gone through some really interesting things.
It's a relative of mine.
Okay.
So,
I didn't write an autobiography, but my uncle did.
oh wow.
So my uncle, I wanted to talk about this book because we're talking about autobiographies, and my uncle actually passed away from cancer, and he wrote this autobiography before he passed away and had it, I think he did it with the publishing where you pay part of it and then they help you.
Yeah.
So they had it in their system, but now it's no longer in their system. Like, you can't order this book. It makes me sad. And then we don't have those files, like his files, which makes me wonder as authors, like, should we appoint someone to get our files of our unwritten,
I feel like
unfinished work?
depending the timeline, you could actually demand the copyright for it because they will only have a certain timeline.
No, they deleted it. Like, it's gone. Like, they didn't keep it.
What?
Yeah, no, I
Oh, that's so
I
frustrating.
tried to inquire. Okay, I just realized there's photos in here, and this is my uncle. Well, I don't know if you can see it, but this is my uncle. And beside him is his sister, which is my mom. So this is his story, his whole life story, but it goes into escaping Romania. So in Romania it was communism, and we aren't Romanian, we're Hungarian. So it was a bad situation for the Hungarians, but basically he escaped, like, you weren't allowed to leave, it was communism, and then ended up in these camps, like refugee camps. But the whole story's in here. He ends up coming to Canada and bringing his sister, which is my mom, and me, my sister, and my dad. Like, he brought our family over. So I actually wasn't born here, I was born in Romania, and the only reason I'm here is because of my uncle. This at the bus station, this is when he came. So this is my uncle, see? And then this is him at the bus station when he came to Canada. So he paid off his plane ticket, then he saved up for me, my sister, my mom, and my dad's plane ticket, and his wife and his daughter, which were back in Romania. So he paid for all of us to, so this is like a really special book to me. I lent it out to someone at work, and she went away and took the book with her, and I was like, please, you don't understand, this is the only copy. And you know what? You might want to, as a writer, consider doing an autobiography. I just started this one. I'm a big Star Trek fan, and when I saw this, I'm like, I need this. So as soon as it came out, hardcover, boom, Patrick Stewart's autobiography. Already from the beginning, it's just like this very dynamic voice. He lived in a time where you would have this bathtub thing that you would just fill it with water.
Yes, and you would,
and the whole family. So it would start with, I can't remember the order. But the kids were the last ones to have a bath, but they all used the same water. It's just like a completely different time. It was fascinating. And then I did get about halfway through this. This is just encouraging. Like, Michelle Obama, The Light We Carry. Honestly, like, sometimes you just need, this was an encouraging book. I haven't finished it. Have you noticed? I have a lot of books where I'm like, I got halfway through, or I just started this one. Well, thank you for joining us for our video autobiography of...
It was hoppin'.
Yes.
Happy Easter, everybody! Thank you for tuning in. See ya!